Welcome back. You're watching Today. There are simmering tensions between AmaZulu King Misuzulu kaZwelithini and traditional AmaZulu Prime Minister Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. The issues stem from the King's appointment of the new members of the Ingonyama Trust Board. Buthelezi wanted previous chairperson Jerome Ngwenya, who has occupied the position since the trust's inception, to continue. Yesterday, Buthelezi called an imbizo of AmaKhosi to raise his concern, and they resolved not to recognize the new Ingonyama Trust Board. For more on this, we are joined by Professor Musa Xulu, Indonsa Yesizwe think tank founder and cultural expert. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Maybe let's start with Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's greatest concerns with the board that had been appointed by the King. What was his big worry with them?
Well, the board is appointed by the Minister of Land Affairs, Mrs. Tawatitiza. The King only nominates his proxy as a chairperson, who is Inkosi Mzimela. Buthelezi's concerns were that, firstly, Inkosi Mzimela possibly does not have the experience or qualifications to understand and can work on the issues of the land under Ingonyama Trust. You must remember that it's a matter that started before the 1994 elections, when there were lots of marches here in KwaZulu-Natal and in Gauteng in what was called the demands of His Majesty the King, the late King. And the demand was that the land be retained as an entity where the rural Zulu people and townships were settled, so that it becomes entrusted to His Majesty the King, but with the chiefs, AmaKhosi, being the ones that are actually responsible for its management. The Act was then crafted in 1994, and it was changed in 1997 to include a board. Buthelezi, I think, was able yesterday to take AmaKhosi through his confidence, because he was able to start with the history of Ingonyama Trust, as well as the issues where he and His Majesty the King are not seeing eye to eye. It looks to me like yesterday, it looked like issues have reached a stage where it's no longer just about Buthelezi and His Majesty the King, but it's more about defending the land and defending the integrity of the Zulu kingdom beyond the personalities. That was the spirit that was created after a few hours of that meeting yesterday.
And this is an important development, because there are now further concerns around the relationship between the King and Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. It's been reported widely that the Prince does not know how he can now serve the King after the nomination that he had presented to the minister. What say you to these concerns and the role that the Prime Minister can still play or not within the Zulu kingdom?
Well, the Prime Minister of the Zulu Kingdom and nation comes with a lot of experience of about 70 years of doing the same work, and his father and his grandfather were also in the same position. So he understands very well the issues at stake, and was able to also, take the King into confidence, sailing through very difficult times from 2021, when His Majesty the late King passed on, and making sure that this current King gets onto the throne amidst a lot of opposition from the Zulu royal household. Now, if he quits now, of course, we cannot individualize things, but it's likely that that whole knowledge will disappear with him. Also, you must remember that that was the same argument that he had with the issue of former Judge Jerome Ngwenya, that he has so much experience of over 20 years. He started Ingonyama Trust almost from scratch, and where he is now. And there was a general feeling in the House that Judge Jerome Ngwenya should not have been treated the way he was treated. I am told now that AmaKhosi are planning to go and meet with Minister Tawatitiza to tell her that they don't approve of this board, and that they will not work with it, and that the processes must start from scratch, and the qualifications of people who must be on the board and experience must be advertised, which is a big development. I think it goes now beyond His Majesty the King and Buthelezi. It's more about defending the Zulu Kingdom, integrity of the Zulu Kingdom, and the land under Ingonyama Trust, which is a unique kind of land arrangement in South Africa.
I mean, it's quite worrying that you say that they will be going back to the minister to say that we're not happy with the appointment and the process needs to be started again. How long, in general, do you think that this process will take? Because in the meantime, we've got no one who is central to leading or taking care of the trust in terms of a leader. And of course, as you say, the integrity of the land and the kingdom and the nation of utmost importance. So restarting the process, how long will it take before there's someone who is at the helm, who has that experience to take the trust and all that it stands for forward?
Well, it would depend on how the Minister of Land Affairs, Mrs. Diza, views it, the way I look at it. But you must remember that His Majesty is appointed by the Act to be the trustee and the chairperson of the trust. So the chairperson, His Majesty can say, okay, in the meantime...
Professor, I'm going to have to interrupt you there. Unfortunately, we have to go to Mahikeng, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is coming out of that meeting.